I'm going to come back up here to my table, and we're going to look at it and look for a pattern so that we can easily try to figure out both all my slope, my y-intercept, and my x-intercept using a pattern. All right, so pattern. We're going to start by looking at slope. Again, I'm going to do all three by looking for a pattern in my table. My slope is the change in your y divided by the change in your x. Slope is your change in y divided by the change in your x. All right, so let's start by looking at my y's and how they change. From -5 to get to -3, what's the change? Okay, is it increasing by 2 or decreasing by 2? Increasing by 2. Let's make sure that's the pattern that continues. -3 to get to 1. 1 to get to 3. All right, so my change in y is increased by 2. Now we're going to do the same, but for my x. -9 to 3. Focus. Sorry, I'm not listening. I'm trying to focus. Go ahead, sorry. Not 3. I'm adding 6. From -3 to get to 9. From 9 to get to 15. All right, so my pattern there is adding 6. So look, this looks familiar. Now I have to simplify it. What's 2 6 simplified? That's my slope. Pattern algebra. Still math. Okay? Let's continue with this pattern to find my y and my x-intercepts. We know my y and x-intercept. Y is where x equals 0. X-intercept is where y equals 0. We said earlier, there's no zeros up here, right? However, if there was a 0 in my x, where would that 0 go? If there was a 0 to be written somewhere in my x, where would I put that 0? Why in between -3 and the 9? 0 is between those numbers on the number line. It goes from negative to positive. In between the negative and the positive is my 0. So I know 0 belongs somewhere right here. So what I'm going to do is continue my table, using the information I have here to create more numbers. I'm going to start at -3, just because I know 0 is going to come after that. So again, I know my slope is the change in y divided by the change in x. We got slope to be 1 over 3. 1 is the change in y, 3 is the change in x. So if I change by 1 and it's +1, what would my next number be here? And I keep going. I change by 1. What would the next number be? Keep going. What would the next one be? Keep going. Okay. So these were all using my pattern that I discovered earlier. Doing the same thing, I'm going to fill in the rest of my x values using this pattern of changing by 3, +3. What would it be? Continue your pattern. What's the next one? And after that? And after that? Okay. My y-intercept is where x is equal to 0. Where is that value? Where x is equal to 0. -2. That's my y-intercept. -2. Same thing we got down here. My x-intercept is where y equals 0. Good. 6, 0. Same thing we got down here. Okay?